Okay, she is joined, that is good, but the mute has not gone. It's okay. So let's first take the subject of Ekadashi. So what is this Ekadashi? 11th day is in the lunar way. If we see, that represents moon. The 11th day, the tides are at the highest. In the same way, the mind, which is chitta, has three chittas, which we have already spoken. So we have a kushala chitta, or the noble thoughts, or noble chitta, better word to use, chitta, or energy. Or and then another one is not noble or immoral. Another one is neutral. So all the three chittas will be at the highest peak on 11th day. Generally speaking, if some regulation can be done, that is on that day you can regulate. It is like a traffic monitor. So you have the highest traffic coming on the 11th day. So you can choose what you want to do with that traffic. How do you want to reduce the traffic? So basically, then what can be done is that we can make sure that the traffic is not only regulated, but there is no food given to it. Then there is no traffic at all. So basically on that day, people, let's say on the road, you have a curfew. So there are no people walking, and you put some policemen so that no person will walk or even come out with vehicle or whatever. So that day the road is completely empty. Similarly, the mind will become completely empty of itself. So that's a good way to do. So there are two kinds of food. One is a mental food and one is a physical food. Mental food are the thoughts and anxiety and worry and compulsions and likingness, dislikingness, and all of that. These are the mental food. The physical food is the food what we eat and drink. So generally, out of five senses, the fourth sense, that is the taste, is the one which creates a lot of interaction with the tides, because of the 11th day, which create more tides. So the taste is the one which create more impressions, and on the 11th day it doesn't have a digestive power to extract the proper food or make the nutrition come into the body. So it normally spoils the food. So if we are able to regulate the supply of the food on the 11th day of whatever we are trying to consume, then that day is too good, because the mind also doesn't get the food. So through the body, meaning through giving the food to the body, you are also giving the food to the mind. By stopping the food to the body, you are stopping the food to the mind. So it's the best thing to do. Now, what are the complications here? Number one is that we need to make the chitta go into sattva. Otherwise, this Ekadashi is of no relevance, because it will create acidity. Meaning, if I were to use the Ayurveda, then it makes it more, what I can say, pitta. Now, what is pitta is like rajas. So it makes things very exciting. So what it would do is, if there is an anger already in the mind, it creates more anger. If there is more jealousy, if jealousy is there, it creates more jealousy. If whatever is there, it will turn it into more because of pitta. So generally what we are supposed to do from day 1 to day 11 or day 10 is to increase the kapha, which is nothing but the ability of sattva. So if we create a sattvic environment in the body and in the mind through the 10 days, then on the 11th day, mind doesn't require food. And it so happens that you don't have to have any food at all to the body. So what happens is 11th day the body will get cleaned of all the impurities. Now these impurities are arising in a way of, let's say, cancer. So what Bhatt had shared is with relation to cancer. Now there are many tests being done in Germany. I think one of them was video of Dr. B.M. Hegde also talks about that, where there is an experiment done in Sweden or in Germany. One of that I know is in Germany, but I think is the same one or different one, I don't know. So there is a stem cell research center. What they did is that they called a lot of meditators, especially Buddhist meditators, to come and meditate in front of the stem cells, which were kept in a container completely locked. So there were 3 of the containers. One container, the normal cells, another container consisting of almost dead cells, and another one is this, that is dead cells in the sense that they are cancerous and they are almost dying. And the third one is the cancerous cells, which they have taken out the stem cells research. So they are trying to see how the cell multiplication happens. So basically these meditators, what they did is that they started sending in the Buddhist terminology, it is called metta. So that means kindness. So they started sending the loving kindness to the stem cell, that container or that box or whatever was there. So they did that for continuously 15 days. And they found out that out of millions of cells which were infected, they had come down to just 300 cells which were infected with cancer. The remaining cells were normal. So after 42 days of doing this, there were no cancerous cells. So that proved that with using the kindness meditation or any kind of meditation which will pacify those cancerous cells would help in curing the karmic consequence, which is the past karma as cancer. So it proved 2 points. Number one is that you don't have to worry if there is a karma and should you endure the karma. No, there need not be. You can always get rid of it by removing the potency of it. So if you remove the potency, then it will not do anything. Similarly, in our body, if we were to be very compassionate with people and with situation, and we have kindness, and if we are on a spiritual domain, then 1 or 2 things can be done using Ekadashi. On the Ekadashi day, instead of going to office or spending time or doing anything, you can completely remain silent. That is, no talk, no speech, no action, and no mind. On that day, if we are able to do that, then what happens is, even if there are cancerous cells which have caused due to anger and frustration and all that, either in this life or in the past life, or we have a tendency to get cancer, then we can eliminate that for sure. There are T cells in the body which are immune cells, and they fight not only cancer, they also fight with AIDS, and it is all kind of immuno diseases or immune related problems can be taken care. So basically what I need to do is, if I am doing that, if it is a full moon or a new moon day, that is, it is going to come on the 14th day. So the 11th day, it would have come on the top of my head. So what I can do is that I can extract that energy through meditation for the whole day and send that towards the cells. That is called as cosmic rays or cosmic light or whatever English words we can use, or Daivika Shakti or whatever we can say. And you can traverse through the entire body, wherein that energy will then cure all the ailment, including cancer in the body. So in that way, without having to burn yourself through this radiology or any other kind of medication, meditation would be the best way forward. But the thing is, if I just do upavasa or this Ekadashi upavasa without making the mind stable or sattvic, that the dosha of the mind is tamasic, whereas you have to bring it to sattvic, then the dosha of the body is actually pitta. So you have to make it kapha. So vata and pitta have to be reduced and kapha has to be increased. So then it becomes stable. So if you are having a stable body, you will not feel hunger and thirst. So first we have to bring in that stability. Not about Ekadashi, it is about bringing in stability. So if you are already feeling full, because if you have more kapha, you will not have hunger. The pitta creates more hunger. So you reduce the pitta through increasing kapha. And when you increase kapha, what is going to happen is that your vata also will reduce. So the person body is extremely stable, and because it is leaning towards sattva, the sattvic guna will ensure that the cosmic light which is there inside goes throughout the body, and hence it gets cured. So cancer can be cured on the 11th day by upavasa. Convincing answer or non-convincing? I think only except for but nobody has seen the video.
So first 10 days there is a need of sattvic life.
Yes.
Basically it is a keep your mind cool, maybe through meditation or something. 11th day, naturally I think your body is set, your mind is set for upavasa. You don't feel so much of hunger also, because that is the day high tide and your digestion power will be low, right?
Correct.
So that is about 11th day. Then yes, the cycle repeats from 12th onwards.
Correct.
So that will help to create what is that special cells, T cells or some cells, right?
Yes, T cells.
Yeah. So that those T cells will kill cancerous cells. That is this one.
Yes.
Then my question is, in that is okay, Indian Ayurvedic way of thinking, but in Japan, that I think there are so many Shatarishis. Number is highest in the world.
Correct.
And what kind of lifestyle they are leading?
They are leading a Buddhist lifestyle.
Is it something very similar, close to this?
No, see, the thing is that they follow this Mahayana tradition, in that one of that is part of Ayurveda itself. So they follow the lifestyle. The tea what they prepare is filled with that, and they keep on praying to everything they have. Something similar what was done in India centuries ago. So when you eat the food, you pray. When you take your basket, you pray. When you go on the traffic, you pray. So you keep on praying. So in that way, they are able to maintain it. Even though they are eating non-vegetarian and all that kind, that is not affecting their daily life. I mean, it's true that part of the country, there are highest numbers of hundreds, more than 100-year-old, and also they don't have cancer and all of these diseases, because the greed factor which comes in, and they keep on praying, so it balances out basically. Whereas in other countries, including India, the greed factor is highest, so it will turn into pitta, which causes cancer. Actually, highest pitta causes cancer.
The greed is lowest in Japan, right? They only contribute to the growth of their country.
That's what I said. So the country itself work on that. See, example, if you are going from Tokyo to Osaka Bay, which has 22 stations between that, the train comes at the correct time, and the people enter the terminal at the correct time, and they get out at the correct time. So everything is correct. There's nothing which is wrong. And if you go to the the Japanese monastery, you will see a very startling feature there, how they pray and what they do and all that. I think it's worth watching. Even if you go to Bodh Gaya, the Bodh Gaya has around 22 countries pagodas. So you will be able to see each country what they do in terms of Buddha's teaching there. So it would be a good eye opener for many of us who don't even know what they really do. So it would be good if you can go into Bodh Gaya, you can see what is done in a Japanese Zen temple.
Can you just elaborate on that? Because I'm not familiar with the Buddhism practice. What do they do, say morning till evening, in terms of their practice? What exactly they do? Because they're also learned people. They also having so much of Desha Bhakti, and they work very hard throughout their life. And what we were thinking that they are stressed people. Actually, I think they're not stressed. The way what is going on there, they love to contribute. Yeah, even I visited once there. I have seen, because everybody works till late in the evening. But we are very stressed if we stay beyond some of that 8-9 hours. We give many reasons for that, but they don't. What is their lifestyle? Is it a spiritual oriented lifestyle, or this is what a country governance style?
No,
the reason for their longevity is my question.
No, you cannot just take one aspect and measure the whole thing out. It is like from India. So this is Vasubandhu. So we are going to digress completely if we were to take on this subject. So Vasubandhu created a Yogacara system during the Nalanda University. So what happens here is that Huan Sang and lot many other Chinese pilgrims were here. So they stayed in India, Takshashila, for 12 years. And then they took all the knowledge to China. And they called it as Chan Buddhism, which means that you meditate to attain the higher principles of life. So you need to read Yogacara system to understand what Japanese do, because Japanese do what Chinese were doing, because it went from China to Japan. So from Chan, it became Zen or Zen. So now Zen Buddhism, what we have in Japan, has 5 aspects to it. One is a martial arts aspect of it, that is self-defense. Second one is providing kindness and loving to everyone in their country, not working towards selfish ideas. Working towards integrity of humanity. This is the third principle what they have adopted. Fourth principle is to not to cheat oneself and be punctual. Fifth one is that the person, whoever is doing considering Buddha as himself, because every person has a Buddha in him or her. So these are the 5 principles what they have taken. So Japan, even though they participated in First World War, and that was or Second World War, and then it was completely destroyed, and they were able to rebuild it. So everything has happened. So the secret of their longevity or secret of their success or health wise is because of these 5 principles what they have, which unfortunately is not there in our country or in many of the Southeast Asian countries. Actually Burma was prominent among them, but after Ashoka, Burma could not keep that. So Burmese or the Myanmar, they couldn't have that. Same thing is with Vietnam, Cambodia. They were also very good at one point in time, but they lost it. China at one point in time was very good, but they have totally gone out of it. They have gone into completely an extreme view of it. So India is, I don't know where it is, because we can't say we are spiritual, we can't say we are religious, we can't say we are materialistic. I don't know where we are. So basically this is the reason why that entire country, Japan, works like a clock. because everybody has these 5 and they've accepted to it. Would that answer?
Yeah. India, because of, I think, a Western culture, it's not everyone. The modern education, if people have entered, then a lot of compromise has happened.
No, the Western influence also is there in Japan, but it is not that only the Western influence is only there in India. It is not true. All Southeast Asian countries, in one way or the other, were influenced by the Western culture. But the Japanese culture has remained as Japanese culture, but we don't have an Indian culture as such. We have mix of races, mix of ideas, mix of opinions, mix of everything. So we don't have a perfect culture like Japan or any other country. So it is very difficult to say whether we are in a religious foundation or we are in a spiritual foundation or what foundation are we.
Mm-hmm.
If you truly do a retrospective of what we are doing or what we've been doing from past, let us say 1,000 years of history of past, you'll find that the setup is the smaller countries, what you used to have like a kingdom. Each kingdom has had its own way of looking at life. It never had an integrated way of life. So it was looking integrated and we called it as Sanatana Dharma and all that. That is true to a certain extent. But then if you really see whether the person was really doing that, you would find only those ascetics and Brahmins and those people who had left their samsara were doing it. Those people who were with king and who were having royal life or farmer or whatever they were having the normal life. The only difference in India is the number of spiritual people are far more than finding it in any other country. That is true. But that doesn't mean that all the population of India at 1,000 years back or even 1,200 years back were all spiritual. That is untrue. If that was there, then by now India would be the most spiritual country in the world, irrespective of who ruled it. Yes, you have a spiritual root, that is for true, because Jambudvipa will not just get exhausted, so you will have the spiritual root as such. But all the people having that fruit of spirituality is far from the truth. Whereas even Japan is not spiritual. They have only made these 5 things acceptable to everyone. See, like if we want to call ourselves Bharatiya today, or in English word Indian, I don't think so all the 130 crore population would feel that. That's the problem.
But if we look at basically the knowledge, from where the knowledge and documented knowledge, if you see that either Veda or Ayurveda and all that Vedic things, all that which is generated in India, and if you see in the entire world, the contribution of India to the world community is the highest.
Correct.
But other countries, we see such things are not available.
That is correct.
See, our Maharshis, they are Drishtaras. From there, whatever they have learnt, they mouth to mouth, it is gone. Now it is available in the written form also. Such history is not available. That is the reason I think those days, we have clearly said that India is, what you call, guru of that spirituality.
Absolutely
the purest
true.
Knowledge was available.
Absolutely true. But the thing is, see, let us look at today's situation. You have Indian Medical Association, IMA, which is fighting tooth and nail against Ayurveda. Okay, Now, what do you have to say? IMA is not International Medical Association; it is Indian Medical Association, right? So you can take the allopathy also.
Yes, Vilas. That way, people don't want Sanskrit. They say dead language and all that. That is a section of people, those who are having a very high influence. Especially, they have all the channel TVs and then media and all that under their control. But they're in very less in number. But somehow they have learned the art of ruling India by putting their own ideas and disturb whatever is coming out of India as a unity, integrity, and all. They will always come and disturb. Now slowly India is also coming back. Okay, I should not enter into the politics, telling that no, our values are great. We would like to follow those values. That is what is currently happening, the fight. But if you look at the spiritual knowledge, what we have gained and systematically documented and preached using all those universities, Nalanda, Takshashila, Vikramshila, and all that. Really, really fantastic. Now, after that, it is deteriorated, maybe due to Mughals, maybe a lot of other European attacks here, but it is not dead. It is still there. Somewhere it is there. And again, the people there are so many Drishtaras even now, and they are bringing that slowly, this one. This is a mixture of something is happened, it's going through that. And you see, including we are also highly polluted by this Western spirit. Western science. Science is good, no doubt, but we lost our values in the name of science. We compromise everywhere. You look at day to day our life, morning till evening. What we do? If you look at that, maximum time goes for professional growth. Just one single word. We compromise entire health. And then when you reach certain age, then guaranteed you have disease, all sort of disease. By then it is late. So first, if you don't maintain your physical body, how will you maintain your mind? Unless you have a proper mind, you cannot get into spirituality. That is what we are in. But now there is also a possibility to change by this kind of awareness. Because now the social media, thanks to social media, a lot of awareness is there. We are able to get what we want. And if you are interested, yes, journey is possible. But so far, our sufferings, because of my understanding, is all these factors.
No, that is correct. See, the thing is like this. See, even in the past, there were people of different kinds. So but the spiritual knowledge has always been there. I'm not disputing that. India has the highest spiritual knowledge across the world. Except for Indians, everybody recognizes that. That is the irony of the situation, not only today. It has been in the past also. Except for Indians, they themselves don't want to appreciate what they have. Others will appreciate. Oh, your country has so many things. And then that is actually stupidity. Like in the case of the Sri Lankan whom I interact, he took all the journey from Sri Lanka to come to India, and then we went to Bodh Gaya. Similarly, this person from Sweden was there at my home. He came to Sri Lanka in search of divinity. Then he came to my home, and then we spent time. So they are open to do whatever. But the problem with our own people is neither we are open to observe and incorporate. Number one. Number two, we ourselves are not convinced that anything of that can work. So today, if we go and talk to Indian Medical Association that fasting will cure the cancer, then he will say you are doing a hoax. It is not possible. Only radiation chemotherapy can cure cancer. There is no cure for cancer. We will help in reducing the effect of cancer. That's all they will say.
Yeah, that's all what you call lobby.
Whatever
like
it is.
JNU, education system. Just against India. India is sponsoring that, and they work against India.
Yes. So now you see the point here is that whether it is intellectual class or whatever it is, you don't have a single person whom you can rely upon and say that this is how India is and we had brought all of this. So now it is time to bring back all of this. That the current government is trying to do. But what I'm saying is it is not there within people. Out of 100
Yeah, correct. Because our mind is polluted. That's true.
So what we are looking at is that we don't want to contribute anything to the country. We want to contribute to ourselves. So we don't care. We don't care much what is happening. So if somebody were to say that this will get cured, that other person will laugh. I think he's gone mad. So they will try to invest their money in going ahead with regular checkup. Actually, as per Ayurveda, if you were to really observe, you have to observe your own body. If you are feeling some kind of ailment for 7 days continuously, then you have to go and find a doctor who can understand what you are facing. That is done in Sri Lanka today, and it's also done in Bhutan. Other than these two countries, you will never find any other country practicing Ayurveda in this form. Okay. Whereas what India has done, or what current in corporate we have done, is that we have made the health checkup mandatory every year. Okay. We are going by metrics, saying that everybody's body is heart is the same, everybody body composition and everything is the same, and every part of the body is treated like a part, meaning you can, just like you can replace a car carburetor, or you can replace a vent, or you can replace something. In the same way, the human body can be done like that. They don't know that it is a single cell which is looking like that. It is not that you have separate body structure. It is one single cell which looks as separated. And these scientists or medical professionals are able to see that how the womb entry is happening, how the cells are merging, how that cystoblast is happening, how the embryo is getting developed, and how the baby is coming out. They are able to see all of that, yet they believe that an individual part can be replaced, which is foolishness. Individual part cannot be replaced, just like a machine. So what has happened here is that we are going against nature law. That is, you don't have to check up every year. In fact, if you feel uneasy for 7 days, then you have to go and check up. Okay, you don't have to keep on visiting doctor like dentist, or for each one profession. So now each one area they have created one profession. That is worst way of doing. And the third important thing, you are doing a service to humanity. So you're not supposed to charge, and that is totally wrong. So before the person gets into the charging, his mind is completely upset that he's sick, and they're going to charge him, they're going to prick him, they're going to do so many things. So he puts cancer on himself by overthinking. Now the fourth one is, you're not supposed to have anything called as an insurance, because there is nothing there to insure. How can you insure something which is not in your hand? But we have gone ahead with insurance. So we have done all those activities which are against nature. So we are really calling diseases on ourselves without knowing what we are doing. So now coming back to the point of Ekadashi, yes, it helps, provided if your mind is in sattva. That's what we are talking on the 14th chapter. If you are having sattva guna all the time, then no cancer will come. And even if it is there in little bit, it can be cured by doing fasting.
Yeah, the cancer comes because of prarabdha, one assumption, and the curing is because of the prayatna. What you are talking is your prayatna in the form of sattvic way of life can bring down the disease, right?
Yes.
Okay, now one question here. By prarabdha, the lifespan is decided already?
No, first of all,
or it is depending on how you live?
No, it's not like that. But there are two. First of all, forget about prarabdha, sanchita and agami. Just let us call it as karma.
Yes.
Okay. There is a karmic body which we call as a sukshma sharira. Okay, not the stula sharira, the sukshma sharira. Or even if you want to go deeper, it is called as Karana Sharira. So you have Karana Sharira, we have Sukshma Sharira and a Stula Sharira. There are 3 Shariras which get formed. The Karana Sharira, the Karana, that is the cause of you being here, is not that you chose to be here. It is your karma which has made that Karana Sharira. Along with that comes the mind, which is called a Chitta. Okay. Chitta has all impressions. Good impression, bad impression, noble impressions, non-noble impressions, and also little bit of Chitta which are pure Chittas, and they are neutral. They don't have either positive or negative. And then you have this subtle body creation called as Sukshma Sharira. This is called as Manasika Sharira. So at the time of conception, when we say conceiving, all these 3 Shariras come together to form an individual as whatever that being should be, and enters into the womb and starts extracting food from the mother. That gets it a gross body which is called as Stula Sharira. So now if a cancer has to come, first it will come in the Karana Sharira, then it comes into the Mano Sharira, which is the Sukshma Sharira, and gets spread out in the physical body, which is the Stula Sharira. Now, the activity what you are doing is basically karmic oriented. So when we say prarabdha karma, the deha or the body or the sharira which is getting formed is prarabdha. Because that is when it starts with the karana sharira. So when we say I am having prarabdha karma, what we are trying to say is that I am having the body. First clarification, we need to have what is prarabdha at the beginning. This is at the beginning, not the gross body. The Karana Sharira and the Sukshma Sharira is the one called as the prarabdha. Now Sanchita Karma, what we talk about is what food you give because of the environment. So you have the Rutu here based upon the environment. So if you are doing Dinacharya and Rutucharya properly as per Ayurveda, then you are not allowing the Karana Sharira and the Sukshma Sharira to display diseases manifesting in the gross body, because you are blocking that karma to operate. Now if I am eating unwanted food at a wrong time and a wrong place and a wrong season and all of that, what am I doing is that I am making this sharira go through this karmic cycle, which is I already had these diseases manifested due to my previous samskaras, now will get reproduced in the body in the Karana Sharira as diseases, and that disease will spread to the Manasika Sharira, and that Manasika Sharira will then have this physical body also taking the toll. So what the Ayurveda found out was you cannot change the prarabdha, that is the Karana Sharira and the Manasika Sharira, which is the Sukshma Sharira, but you can always do something to the physical body, which is Sanchita Karma. So you can block the prarabdha from manifesting. Okay, so this is where Ayurveda is of the best use. So it looks at Vata, Pitta, Kapha. That is happening in the Manasika Sharira, it is happening in the, that is the Sukshma Sharira, as well as in the gross, which is the Sthula Sharira. So if you are able to bring down your anger, which is in the Manasika Sharira, then the Sthula Sharira will not have Pitta formation. Anger in the sense, anger, frustration, disagreement, displeasure, irritability, aggression, all of that is part of anger. It is Krodha oriented. So if I'm bringing down the krodha element, I am also bringing down the lobha element along with that, because krodha and lobha go hand in hand. So when the lobha and krodha are not there, the mind becomes stable. So what I am doing is I am making the manasika sharira much better than whatever it is. So it will stop the manifestation of karma in the karana sharira, even though there is a potentiality. Just like when a child is born, we say that genetically it has got a predisposition of diabetic, but that doesn't mean that the child will definitely get diabetes. It has a tendency. So you have a tendency to become fat, or you have a tendency to become lean, or you have a tendency to become tall, or you have a tendency to become short. You have a tendency. That doesn't mean that that is going to happen. So this is what prarabdha is all about. You have a tendency to manifest, but that doesn't mean that it is going to 100% manifest. No. That first manifestation has to happen in the manasika sharira. So you require meditation to put this manasika sharira in a better way, so that the physical body or the sthula sharira can be taken care in terms of food. So if you give wrong food, or if I give wrong food, I am already having a pitta dosha as a predominant factor, and I keep on eating pitta related, what is going to happen? All the diseases which are there in the karana sharira will start manifesting. Instead, if I stop feeding onto the pitta kind of a food, if I start giving only kapha and vata kind of food, then the pitta will get reduced. So the karana sharira, which has the potentiality, will not be able to produce anything. That means I have blocked the prarabdha from arising through sanchita. So there is no agami karma at all. So in this way I can take care. And this is what Ayurveda is all about. It's a beautiful science for an individual to progress from nothing to everything.
So for spiritual people, Ayurveda is the right approach.
Yes, the only approach of life.
Yeah, if you go to, say, preventive care, health check, even B.M. Hegde talks about the same. Then unnecessarily you become a rogi there.
Yes, because, yes, first of all, those people have to make you a rogi. You have to first keep on telling you that you are an outpatient or you are a patient. And nobody likes to be called as a patient. You tell me, who will be interested in calling a patient except for a doctor? So doctor is looking at a profession. So there is nothing like compassion arising in him. He wants to make sure, or he or she wants to make sure, that wearing this white color robe, they can fleece people of their innocence. So the drug mafia plus the insurance mafia and all these things which are there is because there is money at stake. So which is against, which is, the sanchita karma is so bad that prarabdha karma will follow that person wherever he goes. So after that doctor dies, he will get a bad life because he has done only that. He has not done anything which is nobler.
Yeah.
So such a Brahmin, let us say a doctor is a Brahmin, and such a Brahmin is fleecing money or whatever it is. He has done his MBBS and he has done FRCS, then he has done MD, then he has done so many other things. And he is having a bad intention. It doesn't matter whether he is doing a upvasa or no upvasa. It is already made all the sin what is available.
Yeah.
So what is the point? This is for person who is noble. That means he realizes that this karana sharira has cancer. Then he stops that in the mental body, which is manasika sharira. That is sukshma sharira. And the formation of cancer in the physical body gets eliminated. First of all, understanding the Karana Sharira itself is impossible, for which a person should be so spiritually oriented. Then he should understand Manasika Sharira, for which he has to meditate. Then the last smallest portion of that is the diet. That is what you should eat and what you should not eat. Whereas what we have done...
So with the good Ayurveda, your lifespan can increase.
Absolutely.
Irrespective of that prarabdha and all that, because you yourself is now adding some karma to increase that.
Exactly. Very true.
You cannot abuse your physical health, because for spiritual progress, physical health is very important. So yoga is important.
Exactly.
Yogasanas.
Yes. So if I am doing yogasana, if I am doing pranayama, if I am doing pratyahara, if I am doing dhyana, dharana, if I am doing dhyana, if I am in samadhi, nothing is going to affect. Because my yama and niyama are perfect.
Correct.
So I am following Ashtanga Yoga. So yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So where will the disease manifest? Now we take an example of Ramana Maharshi and we take an example of Ramkrishna Paramahamsa and say that, oh, then why did they get cancer? It was there in the Karana Sharira. They could have repaired it. They didn't want it to do that. That you have to go and...
Yeah, they wanted to show to the world. Yes, they don't want to repair it.
Exactly.
Let it come and let it go. And I am not disturbed.
Yes. My mind is not disturbed. That means...
Yes.
The Manasika Sharira has no expectation at all.
Right.
Which is the best way to stay. Good discussion. So today we have only discussed on this. How much time? Yeah, we have 9:20. So yeah.
So the conclusion here is, it is good to have Ekadashi Vratam.
Yes. Provided your
body allows.
No, not only your body will allow, if your mind allows. So I again give what I can say, disclaimer. It allows, provided your mind is in sattva. Otherwise,
agreed. Ekadashi, because somebody is forcing, is negative results. Ekadashi, which is coming within, is positive results.
Yes. So if
otherwise you will have acidity.
Yes.
But this way you will have really fulfillment of that goal.
Yes, that is true.
So now I have to decide what I should do. My grandmother used to do.
Yes. So some people are able to do it even without this establishing of moral values and all that, because they have done that in the past life. So in this life, they don't find it very difficult to do Ekadashi. So you should not copy somebody. You should evaluate it yourself based upon your intellect and your mind and your body to see whether Pitta is increasing. If Pitta is increasing, then you should not be doing it unless the Pitta goes to almost nil and Kapha takes over. Otherwise, don't do it.
Correct.
So through meditation, through dhyana, what we can do is, or entering into samadhi, last, what we can do is, we can cut out the negativity in the Karana Sharira, and that will help in removing impurities in the Manasika Sharira, and that establishes a peace abiding in the body. And hence you can do Ekadashi without water and food on the 11th day, because water and food will get replenished by the cosmos itself. You don't have to drink or eat anything. Because your Sukshma Sharira can pick up this Amrita from the cosmos. So you will not require any food.
So energy will be tapped because your Sukshma Sharira is feeling very comfortable.
Yes.
So that energy is sufficient for you to practice for 24 hours.
Yes, provided.
Nirjala Ekadashi.
Yes, because on that day you should not be working anywhere except for working inside.
Yeah, basically, I think you should do the dhyana, not physical, too much activity.
No physical activity at all.
Yes. That means you have to, for our kind of people, it is a different challenge.
Yes, that is true.
Because your mind will be working heavily.
Yes.
If you don't feed sufficient, because you're not operating from your Sukshma Sharira. Here you're just doing something from your sense of what you call. It's a duty, yeah?
Yes.
You're committed to do something, you have to do it.
Yes.
But if you do this also, our duty also, in a very Sattvic Bhavana, then we can do it, right? Because energy going, draining, you will not feel it. It's like climbing that Tirupati hill with bhakti. You don't feel tired.
No, you try doing that. It's your mind which is saying that you're not feeling tired. After some time, after you finish the darshan, you feel tired.
Uh-huh.
It is not like that. Like we go to Kedarnath and by trekking, and we then find wow, and we forget the body. After finishing everything, you will have ache in your body and you feel tired, you feel exhausted and all that. At that time, you never felt it.
Uh-huh.
Because the Manasika Sharira has taken over. So the Stula Sharira will not be able to feel anything at all. So if we were to do the 11th day fasting, what we need to do is for 10 days, we need to be in Sattva. And the 11th day, you have to stop all activities and only concentrate on the dhyana. So you need to do japa, tapa and dhyana. Then the cosmic rays which comes from above will feed you and your body. So the Sukshma Sharira will be able to take the food from the environment itself, and it doesn't require water and it doesn't require physical food. So what happens is there is cleansing happening in the physical body. So the cancerous cells will get negotiated into not being very aggressive. So they stop fighting.
That is willpower, boosting willpower.
Yes.
This is an interesting topic for modern life. Because we don't believe this because of too much polluted mind with the modern science. But actually that is lobby.
Yes. Yeah, Lata and Padma Shri, there is pin drop silence.
No, listening fully.
Okay.
Silently.
But do you agree with this, Padma Shri?
Regarding the Ekadashi.
This Ekadashi related discussion, because
Yeah, fully. I am fully aware of the fact that, see, I look at it like this. It is when we started doing all this as humankind in India, we knew why we were doing and what we were doing, and we were doing exactly the right things. Unfortunately, we didn't have this one of too much of documentation. It was all passed on from generation to generation to generation. See, just even if you take our previous generation to our generation, we have lost so many things. Just imagine if thousands of such generations have gone through, how much we would have lost just because we don't have documentation. And unfortunately, now we are relearning science through the Western world. And slowly we will converge at some point in time, maybe not now, another 1,000 years from now or 500 years from now, we might still converge and come back to what India knew earlier. So if we are able to get back to that as early as possible, wherever possible, I would fully agree with what you're telling.
yes, I think that's right. Even 1,000 years not required.
No, but
The access to the knowledge is now much easier. If people,
access is there.
Yeah.
Access is there, and then again we are also relearning from again the Western world only. If you take the yoga also, no? The amount of things which others are practicing, we are practicing much less than that.
yes.
So we will get back all those things, I feel. We will try to get back all those things.
Yeah. That's the reason that Guru Mukhena, if you learn, Guru is really a competent person without any desire of making money. Only Guru is always giving.
Correct.
With that idea. But with Western, the same thing coming back to us, again, there is a cost for it. So that's the reason it may not be so pure.
Nothing will be pure because we are losing it over a lot of things. But then we have to use our intellect to get back to that, is what I feel. Meaning we have to start to do some self-questioning in everything that we are doing. Even the things, rituals that we are doing today, I think they had some reason for why they have done it earlier. And maybe the present conditions don't require so many of them to be done. But then we don't know why we did it. So some of us follow because we don't know. And maybe there is something good we think and then we follow it. Some of us feel that there is no good in that and then we don't follow it. And unfortunately, we have lost a lot of knowledge, but then we have to... I think what we are striving to do is something which we are trying to get back lost knowledge that has been there.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, Lata, you have anything to add?
Good.
No, I don't have anything. I was just listening.
Okay.
This is something I'm thinking to try practically. I don't know to what extent. It's a Nirjalam for one full day or something, but something. For me, inspiration is my grandmother who lived for 100 years with good health.
So let me do one
And
thing.
on Ekadashi day only she had death also.
There are people even now in my family, my co-sister, my husband's elder brother's wife, she does Nirjala Ekadashi. She doesn't talk out to anybody also that day.
Yeah, that I forgot to add. You shouldn't be talking also. You shouldn't be interacting with anyone. So let me do one thing. Since we are talking on this subject, let me do an Nirjala Nirahara Ekadashi on one of the Ekadashi and share what did I feel and what did I do. And then if any one of you are interested in doing also, you can do that. But the only thing you need to remember is apply leave and don't work, don't talk, don't do anything, just sit and meditate.
Yeah, idea is good. But I am very much interested to know from you your experience after that.
Yeah, definitely I'm going to share, but since you are motivated right now and you are also motivating me, we can select a day of Ekadashi and 3 of us or 2 of us can do it. You at your home, I do at my home. And next day we can share.
Yes, we can try to do that.
Yeah.
Last year I tried one day. Last year, not Ekadashi. Simply I thought let me have 24 hours Nirjala, and I could manage that.
Okay.
Without any problems.
Okay.
Okay, I have to join another meeting. Thank you. Very good discussion today.
Okay.
Vilas.
No problem. So we will start with that Bhagavad Gita tomorrow. All right. Bye.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Bye.